Okay, this is the sixth video, and we will be continuing on with what we were working on with the flakes. So if you are just joining this video, you can go to Yellow Snow, or sorry, it's GitHub, Programming Rainbow, Yellow Snow C SDL2, and you can grab the source code there. Um, I I haven't got it yet, but since this is the sixth video, we will be continuing on from the code from the fifth video. And it's not uploaded just yet, but I will be uploading that shortly. So you would take the source code from, just delete the source code directory and then rename the video 5 source code to just src. So we were working with making flakes. We're using a dynamic link library to do that. But we kind of need to be able to randomize them in a way that it looks like it's actually snowing, not just a whole bunch. I'll show you real quick. That one. So right now we just have them all dropping, always the same, always starting at 0. So what I want to do is I want to change this so that we can reset flakes. We can reset a flake and we can reset all flakes. So let's kind of extract that away real quick. We'll set that up. Over in Flakes, I want to add a couple things. I do want to add speed. So we'll add speed as an int. So speed, and I also want a boolean to know if this flake is white or not. So I'll say bool is white. Okay, and that will let me be able to decide if the flake, is white or not white. And that should be good enough for this. We also need a couple new functions. So again, I want to reset a flake and I want to reset all flakes. So for that, I will make new. These are both going to be, so these will both be void because there is not going to be an error that we're checking on either one of these. So we'll say flake reset. We'll do the struct flake. And then how about flakes reset as well? So we can set all the flakes. And I'm going to call this flakes because I'm probably going to make it a local. No, I don't need to actually. Yeah, I can just still use F. So we have flake reset and flakes reset. Okay, so the simplest one, or the one that we should start with, will be the reset. So just put it here. It's fine here, yeah, under the free. Void flake reset. Okay, so I want to think about, actually, let's just talk about what we want to happen with this reset. So each time we reset a flake, we do kind of want a new X position. So that would be nice to have a brand new X position. But also, do we really want the flake to always start at the top of the screen? It would be much better if it actually started somewhere above the screen. But if we had all the flakes start at a position above the screen that was the same, then they would all be dropping again in a line. So we want them to be starting somewhere randomly above the position, so above the screen. We need to think about what we want the flakes to be. So I think about it this way: the flakes can randomly be on the screen, but they also need to randomly be one screen above the normal screen. So that when a flake does hit the floor, it is going to show up somewhere one screen above the normal screen, somewhere in that imaginary box. Basically, all the flakes are either going to be on the screen or an imaginary one screen above the screen. And that's great, except for when the game first starts. There's no flakes actually on the screen. So if all the flakes are up there at just above the screen, at that box above the screen, then they're going to be more dense at that point. We're going to have a wall of flakes come down that are more dense, and later on they're going to be dispersed. So what I really need to happen is in the very beginning of the game, when the flakes are all above the screen, I need them to be somewhere either above the screen or two, imagine two boxes above the screen of the same size of the screen. And then that whole thing moves down. And then when they start resetting, when they hit the bottom of the ground, they're going to reset to 1. So I need to know if the game is a full reset or just if it's just resetting and the normal flakes falling down and hitting the ground, or if I've completely reset. So if it's just hitting the ground, I want them to reset somewhere in the screen size above the screen. But if it's the full reset where all the flakes need to be appearing the same kind of mental area, but even one screen above that. So I'm going to need them up to 2 screens above, right above the screen or up to 2 screens above it. So I'm going to have a full reset and a partial reset. So for this reset, I'm going to have a flag in here. We'll just have bool, and I'll say full. So for this full reset, it's going to be randomly somewhere above the screen up to 2 screens above. And a non-full reset will just be randomly 1 screen above. So we do need to change that in the prototype. So just on this reset one, we're just going to put bool full, and that's just a flag. So with that, now we can think about setting up this random. We've already done part of this here, where we have used the random number generator right here. So why don't we just grab that? Okay. We'll put it in here. And this always gives us a flake that appears on the screen. Reset flake. This needs to be flake. So this is always going to give us our X position on the screen, and we like that. That's good. But if the bool is true, we want it to be above the screen, but dispersed 2 screens above. And if it's not true, if it's normal gameplay, we just want it above the screen, 1 screen above. So let's put that in an if full. And I'm going to just copy this for simplicity. So we need to change the Y. And we need something that is we need the Y is going to be Y minus the height of it. So we need, let's think about what this random bit is going to be here. We're somewhere, oh, we need to offset it. Well, I'll just do this. I'll do height, window, height, times 2, right? So window height times 2, but I actually need this to be a negative number. And I also want to subtract the height of the height of the rect from this as well, because I don't want this flake to show up on the screen at all. So if I have this random here, let's try that, negative. So I'm going to get a random value that is the height times 2. I'm just going to put these in parentheses. I thought I'd put that in parentheses. There we go. So height times 2, that's at 2 screens. My random number is going to be somewhere between 0 and that, but then I need the negative. But that can still, if it was 0, still show on the screen. So I actually need to subtract this, or I need to subtract from this the height of the. So we'll do it. We'll do a. I'll do an int height equals full. We'll just use a ternary window height times 2. So basically this height variable, if the full is true, will be window height times 2. If not, it's just window height. Okay, that'll take care of that. We don't need that anymore. And what we can do here is we can say, I'm just cleaning this up so I can think about it logically. I can say the height I get the height of this, yeah, and then I can add to it the height of my rect. Okay, so if I do this, now this is a positive number, but this is going to be, so it's going to be not from 0 to height, whether it's 1 screen or 2, but it's going to be offset by the height of my thing. So it's never going to be 0 now. Now it's going to be from how tall my thing is to up to 1 or 2 screens depending. But I need this entire thing to be a negative. So I just wrap the whole thing here like this and stick a negative there. Okay, so let me make sure I have all my parentheses. Yeah, they look good. So this should give me, whether it's full or not full, it's already been decided here, and I will get an it'll always be on the screen with the X, but the Y will always be above the screen, whether it's 1 or 2 above the screen. So when we do the check here, if it hit the ground, we can call our function. We can just say flake reset, and we need to send in our flake, and we need this send in the boolean, and this is going to be false because this is not a full reset. So this is during normal gameplay. We just want it to reset up to 1 screen above us. So that is flake reset. We can just use it here. It's going to give us our random X and Y. That's good. So for all the flakes to be reset, we're just going to do the loop, and we're just going to tell it to reset full on the whole thing. So void flakes, this time with an S, reset. And we're going to pass in and there we go. And this time we're going to do the while on it. F. And we're going to say flake reset. So we're just calling the function that we just made up here. And we need to pass in F, and we need to pass in true, because this is when we want to reset the whole game. So we want the flakes, nothing to be on the screen. We're going to reset all of them, and they're all going to be between this somewhere randomly in the screen above the normal screen or in 2 screens above the normal screen. They're all going to be in there randomly somewhere. And we need to do the F equals F next, so we don't get stuck in that loop again. That should reset all the flakes. Okay, and we could check that out. We could put that on, say, the space bar. So when we hit the space bar, all the flakes reset. And anytime the flake hits the ground, it does a normal reset. And anytime we press the space bar, it resets all the flakes. Okay. So yeah, we'll go into game. So the normal flake update is fine for the normal reset. We just need to add in into the key down. I'm just going to add in the space. Scan code, I'm just going to say 1 and then space. There we go. And for this one, I'm going to tell it to reset all flakes. So flakes, reset, and this is going to be G flakes, the head of the flake list. Okay, so that should reset all the flakes when that happens. And I hope I'm pulling in flakes here. I'm pulling them in the game header file. Let's see what happens there. Okay, that's not very good. You know why that happened? Okay, I will show it again real quick. So what happened was we did not reset the flake when they were being created. So let's fix that real quick. So in flake C, when it's being created, instead of doing this right here, we just need to reset the flake. And we're going to pass it in as new flake. We'll go flake, reset, new flake. And that, every time a flake is generated new now, it's going to automatically be reset for us. Okay, and we need this to be, this is happening in the beginning of the game, so it should be true. Or we could reset all the flake. Well, we could do this several different ways. Am I resetting it here? Yeah, okay. So we can just do this true. We could actually just not have anything here at all, and then we could tell the game to create these flakes and then reset them, but that's fine. It's fine right here. Okay. Now the flakes are falling. So now if we were to add more flakes, it would look better because they wouldn't all be lined up. And I'm going to press the space bar now and see if it resets all my flakes. All the flakes should disappear off the screen, and they should all be appearing 1 to 2 screens above so that they come down naturally again. Here it is. That was space. Okay, I'll try it again. One more time. Did get one of them right off the screen, I guess. But nothing is on the screen when I hit it. Okay, so forgot what I was just thinking. We have all these flakes falling. Don't know why main is here. Flakes H should be pulling in main. It is. Okay. Okay, so we have flakes falling. When they hit the ground, they're resetting. We're going to change this magic number real quick. It's in here. We are setting things. It's fine. We can just set it here or down there. It doesn't really matter. We'll just set it here. So we'll say new flake speed equals, we'll just say 5 for now. Later on, this is going to be a delta time thing. So down here, we can now update based on speed. So we don't have at least that magic number in. We still have this magic number here. We could extract that away as well. Yeah, we could put that. We could put the ground, say we could call it ground. We could put that up here. So let's, in Flakes, say int ground. And in here, just so that it's more, it's not just random numbers everywhere in the code. And what was it, 514 or something like that? I think it was 514. So we have our ground. So it's going to say, have we hit the ground? This would be F. We could have also done this as a pound define as well. That would work. That would just be a replacement with the macro. Either way. So we have this kind of speed thing in the player as well. Now we need to know the bottom of the flake and we need to know the left and the right of the flake because we need to know about collisions. So we're going to set up some kind of like in other language they would be like getters. We're not doing setters, but basically I just want a function that returns the right, the left, and the bottom of the flake. I don't care about the top of the flake at all, just the right, the left, and the bottom. So we'll just make these and we'll just prototype them real quick. So these are also void. Flake, say left. Oh, these are returning a number. Sorry, these are returning an int, not void. Okay, we got left, right, and bottom. Okay, so there's the prototypes of those. These are just going to be really quick, really small little functions. And they could be, but we'll just put them right here above update. So for flake left, that's really easy. That's just x. So we just return f rect.x. Yeah. And for right, we need to calculate the right. So that's x plus width. So that is the left. And for the bottom, we need to do the same thing. It's y and height. This just makes it easy for us to write to how to get those numbers instead of doing this. And also I'm not interacting directly with x and y from outside of Flakes, so it's not changing these numbers. I don't want them to be changed by something outside of the Flakes module. So it's a little bit of the kind of like encapsulation OOP, but it's not. It's just kind of separating things out a little bit, making it a little less likely to be something to be editing the flake that doesn't need to be. So we're going to go with y plus height. Okay, so this is going to give us the bottom of the flake and the left and right. And we're just making a box around the flake, basically. For the snowman, it's different. We actually want to cut into the image of the snowman. But this one, we're just going to, the box that's the image of the flake is going to work fine for us. So that will get the different, I don't know if there's anything else that we really need to do within here. Yeah, I think that's, so let's do a little bit of this same thing in player. So in player we have, so yeah, let's make these kind of same changes and clean up to the player so that we can start having collision detection and everything else. In my LSP, the Clang D kind of cleaned up the way that the code was. It doesn't really matter to me. So let's just see that again, that it's compiling and working. Okay, I can move my snowman around. I have my flakes falling. Cool. There's no collisions happening yet, except they are, when they hit the ground, we are having them reset. And if I press space, all the flakes reset up top again. Let's add some more flakes real quick before we get to the player. I think we need more white flakes, maybe would be good, because the yellow flakes are kind of the ones that are the bad flakes that we don't want. Yeah, so how about 5 yellow and 10 white? Or we can even put more. This is going to be in game right here where we've decided how many. So we could put 10 here. Okay, that should hopefully give us more flakes. A little bit better. Okay, let's start working on that. Right now the snowman doesn't get to the edge of the screen really. I want him to go a little bit further. And also that boundary, basically the side of his head right here, this boundary is where I want the collision detection with the flake. So I do want this, it's kind of cut to his head. I want that to be the left, the right, and his head here, I'm going to come down a little bit to like his eye or something, or because what's going to happen is if we have a flake over here, you think about the square here of his head, that point there, and then think about the square of the flake, and you have this wide gap between the collision happens, but you visually don't, since we're doing box collision, when you look at it, you say, well, the flake never hit me. So we do need to kind of let the flake come into the head a little bit. So when it's on this corner case, it looks a little bit better. And I'm just going to have it the side of his head and the other side of his head. So we're going to kind of offset the left and the right and the head of the snowman for our collision. So let's do that now, and we'll also kind of fix up some of these things that we cleaned up in flakes. We have a reset. So over here in player, I think we used a magic number for the ground, so we can fix that as well. So in the header, let's add speed in ground. So int speed, int ground. So we never reset the player. We could reset the player. We could put a reset for the player. We do need a left, a right, and a top. So let's just add these while we're in here real quick. So this is going to be ints. Right. And for this we need his head, because we need the bottom. We need to know if the bottom of the snowflake has hit the top of his head. We'll call it top. Okay. And there we go. We got those guys. We could reset. So I'm kind of mixed about, I know I want when the game resets, I want the flakes to reset, but do I want the player to reset? We could do that. We could add in a reset. It would just be a void player reset. That would just put them back in the middle of the screen. We could do that. Okay, so right away we're going to take care of the speed and ground, and then we'll deal with the offsets. We do need offsets, sorry. We want to add those too. So I'm going to have a top offset. And a left and a right offset. Okay, so we have top offset, left offset, and a right offset. And then we're going to go to player C. Let's look down here. We have ground at 377, and we have our speed here at 5. So let's just right away up here set those. So P speed equals 5. We can say P ground equals 377. So right away we can, did I spell ground right? Yeah, right away we can go fix these down here. Speed, and right down here. Okay, so we have the speed fixed, checking the ground. Where is that guy at? Oh, it's not, it's right here. I guess we don't really need a ground because we're just setting it here anyway. So maybe we don't even need that. We're just putting it here. So I'll just remove the ground. It's redundant because we're not checking it anywhere. We're setting it once. And I'll remove it from the struct as well. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do with the where is it, player C? What we're going to do with these, the top, the left and right, is we're going to use the top of the player, and then we're going to add the offset to it. And the left, we're going to use the X, and we're going to add the offset. The right, we're going to do the X, the width, and then subtract the offset from that. And that's the way we're going to draw our box around the character here. So this is going to be an int player, say top. P. So all we really need is the Y plus the offset. So P rect Y plus P top offset. So that is going to get the very top of the image for the snowman, but then bring it down a bit with this offset, with the top offset that we have not set yet up here. We will do that. So let's do that before we forget. Top offset, and the offset that we're going to be using for his top, it's going to be 10 for his head, and that's not half of the, I think the, what is it, 32 maybe for the, it's 32 or 24 for the size of the flake. So it's not really half, it's just the flake is somewhat into his head. It's going to be a bit bigger for the left and right. So left offset is going to be 47. and right offset. This is just how it looks on my screen. If these don't look right to you on your screen, you can adjust them. So right offset equals 43. So that's setting those here. So now here, down here in our left, int player left struct player, and we're going to return struct, oh sorry, struct, rect x plus our left offset. Okay, that's going to be that. So the most complicated one is the right side. And this one we're going to return p, and it's going to be rect.x plus p rect.width minus p right offset. Hope that makes sense. We're getting x is the left side, width gives us the right side of the image, but we want to pull in to that image to give us the offset there. Okay, we haven't done anything with the reset. So what we could do with the reset is we set it to the center of the screen here, and we set this. So we could just put this right here inside of our reset. So I just copied it, and then we can, well, I'll put the reset. Where is it? I'll just put it here. So this is void. And struct player p. Okay, and I just want to do those two things. So every time we reset the game, it's going to put our player back in the middle of the screen, and it's going to set it looking to the right, I believe. And so up here where this code was, we need to call that function. Player reset, and we just pass in p. That should work. Okay, let's see if that all still completely just works without any mistakes. Okay, all that stuff is good. We don't know about all the left and right stuff, but we assume that works. But I'm going to hit reset now. I'm looking to the left. I'm going to hit reset, and it should put me in the center of the screen looking to the right with the flakes coming from the top again. And it did not. The reason why is because I am not calling reset on the from the space bar. So I probably just need a whole game reset, but for right now we'll just put it, it's in game C. I'm not calling reset on the, I'm calling it on the flakes, but not the player right here. And I think I'll abstract this out later, but right now I'm just going to call player reset player. Okay, so I'm over here and reset. Over here, reset. So I'm a bit 50-50 whether I want to reset the player each time. But it's easily removed if you don't want to. So now we need to start thinking about collisions. Yeah, the collisions I believe will be happen. It's probably better to, since they're affecting the game, I don't want to check the collision in the flakes, and I don't want to check them in the player, I think I want to check the collisions in the actual game C itself because it's affecting the game state. Yeah. So how about we kind of put a pin in it for here for the all the flakes move in, and then the next one we'll start dealing with collisions. So let's just do a recap real quick of what we have going on here. So we've updated our flakes to reset. So we have this, we have two resets. One resets a single flake, and it's different whether it's resetting to the game reset or if it just hit the ground. If it hit the ground, it's going to be the height, and it's going to be a random height plus the height of the thing, and then it's going to be negative, so it's appearing above the screen. If it's a full reset, it's going to be double that. It's going to be somewhere, it's going to be the height of the thing up to double the height of the window above the window, so it looks even when it's falling. So you don't have things that are, so we don't have like bunched up flakes, so it all kind of looks more natural. So we just fixed up that. We got rid of the magic numbers. We put them up here, and we have set up a way to get information on the left, the right, and the top and bottom. Let me real quick before we finish this, let me change the player. Oh, the player. Yeah. Let me change the player, the left and right on the player. So here, the left and right on the player, why don't we check to see if this and it's X, but let's say X plus left offset. So we can kind of see what these are. So X plus left offset, if that's smaller than 0, then we need to set it to left offset. Okay, and on the right side, so yeah, that's the left side. So on the right side, it's going to be width minus P right offset, and then we're setting it to, I think we need to plus it on this one, plus P right offset. That makes sense here. X. Let's just try it. I want it to collide based where his head is. Okay, so we've messed that up. Collision looks good, but the reset looks bad. And this one looks right. So right side is correct, left side is wrong. Left side we collide right, but then we reset wrong. So let's fix that real quick. So that was left side. So I think this is a negative right here. Yep. So we have it, basically his eye is kind of touching the edge of the screen here. What about over here? Yeah. The left side, he might be a little bit closer, it seems. Or look down where his mouth is. Are we getting the same penetration on this side? Yeah, it's about the same. Okay. I don't want him to be able to go off the screen. I want like if you're trying to run away from a flake, you can't go all the way off the screen. You're stuck on the screen. Also, these offsets that we're using right here is going to be using the flake collision. So yeah. So that works. So for the player, we did the same thing. We abstracted away the speed, and we've set these offsets that you're gonna see us use in the collision detection, and we're returning the top, left, and right. We are now using those in our update. We're not using those functions, but we're using the same offsets. And yeah, so now we're really set up. We got flakes falling. We can make as many flakes as we want, and they're cleaning themselves up. They're resetting themselves when they hit the ground. They can do a full game reset. We have the player that we can control. We have our everything that we need in place to start collision detection. So we'll do that in the next video. So I hope you enjoyed this one, or learned something, or just were entertained, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.